Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is from Concerned Christians Outreach once again. I'm here to discuss with you, as usual, how our children can have a God-chosen relationship. For some weeks, we've been talking on how to prepare for a blissful Christian marriage. And during the last episode, we talked about courtship versus dating. We mentioned then that most marriages that fail or end in divorce had their root in dating, and in most cases, marriage was forced on the couple because in dating, where they see sex as a recreational activity, pregnancy comes in, and the parents of the lady forces the man to marry their daughter because they believe pregnancy comes in as a sign that God has blessed relationship. Whereas it is not so. Dating has no strong foundational love. It is just a relationship that is casual, that is temporal. It has that lacks any form of commitment. I see you for today, I like you, tomorrow I don't see you and get another person. No, there's nobody controlling them. Their parents don't know about their relationship. They just do what they like. Whereas in courtship, parents know about this relationship. Parents get interested and give advice as often as possible so that they are successful with their commitments. And in courtship, as I said, there is commitment right from the beginning. And the commitment is that the relationship is going to end in marriage. Though courtship is not a popular policy, still it is one that gives marriage a strong footing. And today, we want to look at courtship more seriously and see the benefits of long courtship. You know, when we talk of courtship of 2 weeks, 1 month, will not be as strong as a courtship which lasts many months or years. We cannot say exactly that it should last so long, but the period should be long enough to give both parties the opportunity to know about themselves, plan for the future together, plan their wedding, and do other things. So, my dear listeners, let us go into business and look at the benefits of long courtship. We should remember that God established the institution of marriage when He created animals, male and female. He only created man out of dust and he breathed a breath of life into him, and he became a living being. Remember, it was only Adam that he created, no partner. Unlike when he created the animals, they were male and female. But in case of man, he only created Adam. Adam lived all alone in the Garden of Eden, where he worked as horticulturist and farmer, and the products of the garden provided him with livelihood. God now tested him to find out his level of maturity. He told him to give names to all the animals for recognition. You can see this you can see it in Genesis chapter 1 and also Genesis chapter 2. He told him to give names to all the animals for recognition. Adam gave names to the animals who came to him as male and female. The Bible restates that the name that Adam gave to each animal is what they are called till today. God now saw that Adam had everything that will make him a good family man. He saw that he's matured, he can decide good things and other things. So God then said in the book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 18 that it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. This event now assists us in seeing that marriage is not something you rush to do. You must plan very well for it. This establishes the fact that long courtship is very good because it gives the man and woman lovers to know much about each other. During this period of courtship, they will be able to decide whether they are compatible or not. Long courtship also allows them to plan for their future by looking into many areas of their life in future. They will talk about how they will handle financial matters in their future home, discuss about each other's opinion about sex, talk on number of children they will have, and even talk about their families and religious belief. If we follow God's guidelines, there might be little or no problem when they marry eventually. If we need a biblical example to sanction what we said earlier, then we look at Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. You can find all this in the book of Genesis. Jacob had deep love for Rachel. This was manifested the first time he set his eyes on her, as she led her uncle's animals to the well for water to drink. Jacob saw a very beautiful damsel in Rachel and decided to have her as a wife. Jacob worked with no payment for Rachel's uncle, and this stood for dowry. He worked for the first 7 years. He was not paid. He did it as a form of dowry. You can follow me now. because he had no money to give, so he had to work for it. And he was not ready to take her free of charge. He worked for it. Even when the uncle exchanged Rachel's senior sister Leah as wife on the wedding night, Jacob was not satisfied, as his love for Rachel was limitless, and he decided to work for another 7 years with no pay just to have Rachel. You can plainly see the difference in the relationship between Jacob and Leah, Jacob and Rachel. Because of the long courtship he had for Rachel, Jacob was blinded by love to seeing the innate and very bad behavior of Rachel. He did not see things bad in Rachel, even though Rachel was a very bad wife. Rachel was full of jealousy, always complaining, and lacks contentment. There is nothing you do for her that satisfies her. She's very jealous and is not contented. If you read 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 6, you will know what Paul said about contentment. He said that godliness with contentment is great gain. This is what Rachel lacks. This is what Jacob did not take note at all, because he was blinded by love. Even though Leah had children for Jacob, he was prepared to make her a sacrificial lamb when they were to meet his brother Esau, whom he thought would attack him. So what Jacob did was that when he was arranging his family and he was to protect them, he was to be in front, then the maids follow. Then the person who followed was Leah. He now put Rachel at the rear, at the far back, so that even if there was any attack, it will take some time before it gets to Rachel. So you can see how. So you can read about this in Genesis 33, verses 1 to 2. So my dear brothers and sisters in love, remember, courtship for a long period is good for a lasting marriage. Thank you.
You know,